Hule,
Yes.
you have
Gotta lower my
just-
register again.
This is a hectic period for the marshalship.
Yeah, that's about to get worse.
You have just received no less than 100 radio communiques from high-ranking marshals throughout Lavassa, all the way down to just old enforcers you used to run beats with, all that kind of stuff. Patricians from different cities have sent you communique requests. The world is in motion right now.
Mm-hmm.
Hule, what do you do?
First order of business is, where was it? I'm going to replace my single parrot monkey system with a voice recorded, basically a soundboard of the top 20 things I have to tell people. Yes, no, of course, I'm working on it. No answer at this time. And all of the scripted answers, or I'll have to get back to you on that.
Gotcha. Right? Yeah.
And I'll get all of those put into recordings, and I'll replace the parrot and monkey with about 12 monkeys and more computers.
Okay.
And to the best of my ability, I will be sacrifice my sanity to just have all of those managed as much as we can.
Yeah, of course.
But make it seem like I'm actually keeping up with it. And I don't know what the vocal... Is there an animal that has the vocal range of a human? Or minotaur?
I'm trying to think of D&D creatures that have that kind of vocal range. I'm sure there's some kind of creature you could mimic.
So macaques and baboons? Able to reduce voice-like sounds, similar range to humans.
Yeah,
so
something like that.
If there's something that I can make sound like either me or my secretary, or a generic human, I'll say, oh, this is Hule's secretary speaking in the voice of whatever monkey. And just give them all that voice and try and make a bunch of dummy secretary bots out of shadows and just have them run a such and such an operation. Separately, I mean, Daniel still has his full-time gig. This is just for the phone calls.
Right.
And for myself, I wanted to go to the Lord Marshal's house. I needed to give his wife a personal apology and informant, even though I'm sure she's already aware. And separately go to his basement, find those files, record them all, and act directly. While I was getting... Once I figured out the voice thing, I'd probably have one of those. One of the shadows that can use a humanoid or human range voice set up all the phone stuff. So that'll be set up ASAP. And I myself would be going and writing the filing against the Norschfletch as publicly as I am allowed. I don't know what the rules are on that.
Okay, right. Yeah. Hold up 1 second. We keep talking. I'm listening, but just give me a second. I won't be able to respond.
And is there a particular... Oh, okay. And for the leaving a crew of monkey-esque things. I'm not sure what creature that is, but whenever we find it, either monkey or monkey and other creature.
Oh, yeah, those two things. Yeah, okay.
But instead of just the one, there's now a crew of them, and I will use probably all of my shadows doing that.
Right.
Because monkeys are 0 CR, but I don't even know what a baboon would be. But if there's any important information, because baboons are even 0 CR.
Right.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. No, I get you.
So I'll have as many of those as the game mechanics allow. Have all that set up in the office. Trying to keep the bugs in the science division, because that's a ongoing concern, having Sarah missing. But that's so I'll be sure whatever the max number minus 1 0 CR creature.
So you head out of the hospital. You go to your office, and
Immediately
you
file
just
against the Norschflitz
yeah. You
for the murder
immediately
of the Lord Marshal.
you immediately pull out, like, you pull your hand up, and you see, like, there's just chaos in here, and your assistant, while Daniel's out, like, trying to take a breather, because he's
recovering.
just a little bit. Manigier is in here trying to organize everything, looks up and he says, "Sir," and then you just hold up your hand, summon a whole bunch of shadows, and it breaks apart and starts handling things. Then you go and you write some papers, and all amongst all this, and then you create some bugs. The bugs run off to the science division.
Oh, the bugs are already in the science division.
You had to dissolve them all to create the bear.
They're 0 CR?
Yeah, because the rule, but the rule I gave you was you could have as many 0 CR as you want, but if you ever create any higher CR above a quarter, you can have and 1/4 CR. But if you ever create anything above that, you'd have to get rid of everything else. That was the rule we put in place.
I thought I could have up to 1 CR and a 0 CR and a single 0 CR.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah.
So the 0 CR that I kept was not the butterfly. With Amelia, it was the bugs in the science division.
Cool. All right.
Because that was a hard to get thing. So I guess I'll be
fine by me.
And I don't think I'll be able to send the depending on how many 0 CR creatures I need. I'll now have an office full of 0 CR, the bugs in the science division. And if I need more, I can sacrifice the butterfly to Amelia, but that was a nice sentimental thing, so I'd rather just keep sending a butterfly back across town.
Right.
But I'm giving up on my scouting the town with creatures for the time being.
Okay. And then after you get all that organized,
and
you grab...
Oh, sorry. Nothing else setting in motion, since I can't personally sweep the streets with snakes and birds and all that mess to find any additional symbols. I know I had tasked Karen with doing it previously to try and locate more of the teleportation circles based on traffic patterns. But on the ones that we do know about, I think there's 3 so far, I wanted to set up undercover cops just to surveil.
You've already done that.
Okay.
You've already
I wasn't sure if I had
that,
set up actual people to look at it.
Yeah,
I didn't just want me and her. Okay, cool.
Yeah. You have she has a task force on that. Anyways,
we have task force now.
Nice. You had task. You are a task force. you have 3 of the single best people in the marshalship working directly for you.
Not near good enough. I need better.
I mean, a guy who consistently rolls nat 20s, an investigator who has a higher investigation score than you do,
without the gimmick of advantage, mind you.
Right. Yeah. A girl who can process numbers faster than anyone alive.
Yeah.
And then you have like you have a friend at the Scaligia who just is willing to let you into top secret locations just because.
I used to have a friend who would loan me dragon or devil fingers, but hey, can't have everything.
No, you still have that, don't you? You never returned it.
No, I have it, but she's gone. She was the resource, not the finger.
Right, Dabanid did file a paper requesting release of those things now.
Cool. Has he shown up for work?
Oh yeah, he's been at work. Not the science division, but he's been bouncing between the military base and his house, doing projects at both.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You then grab.
Yeah,
Sorry,
and I already filed against the Norschflitz on
you were able
Davenant's
to file
behalf,
that real quick,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I did that like last week, and this week it's for the murder of the Lord Marshal.
So there's not much of an official thing you can do because they're a top secret organization. Originally, it started out as like a unified body, but as I told you, it's kind of just become a rabble of who owns who, that kind of thing.
And I mean, but in the politics, like, who does run that? Who is that illegal?
Technically, the cabinet technically runs it, but again, they're kind of like split. Like they exist in this weird pseudo space of like who runs it. Like it's the bureaucracy is so convoluted that and they're so secretive that there is no real authority over them other than the people you have in your pocket. You're like, think 40K Inquisitors, but just way more secretive and a lot less. Less
Gestapo
overt.
without Hitler. It's not great.
Right. Yeah.
But to that end, so I guess the grievance I'm filing is to the cabinet. Either that or it'll be a public grievance.
Right. And do keep in mind that you also have a number of them that the Lord Marshal gave to you that are in his pocket. Were in his pocket.
So going to his basement, or have I already gone there?
That's what I was about to say.
Okay.
So you go to your room and you gather up whoever you can on a short notice, like on a very short notice. Carlene comes with you, obviously. Daniel and Karen are way too busy, and they don't need to be there anyways. Let's see who in the cabinet we land on. He's not available. So the Lord Militant is also available. He immediately responds.
Is that Lord Militant? Wouldn't that just be Ackerman?
No. The Lord Militant is the leader of the militant. Ackerman is just a high-ranking officer. In fact, yeah.
So who is the High Militant, if I may have you spark my memory?
The Lord Militant is a cabinet member. Lord Militant Sir Kavanaugh the Nightwalker.
Oh, Kavanaugh. Right.
He's able to report. He does bring Ackerman with him. And Selthor is pretty busy, and he tells you he might be there, but he doesn't know.
All right.
You guys all gather up, and you hop onto a shuttle. You guys hop onto a shuttle together, and then there's a hauler, and you look out, and you see Selthor rounds the corner, and he hops on this ship with you as well. And you all head toward, collectively, Selthor, Ackerman, the Lord Militant, yourself, and a couple of High Marshals get together, and you fly toward Jeffrey's old house. In your hand, you are holding a sheathed object, something covered in black velvet. And Selthor, as the kind of like lowest ranking person here, is holding another similar object. And you guys land in front of Jeffrey's old mansion. And you see someone begins to walk out of the house. Queen Michal, the matriarch.
Matriarch or patriarch?
Matriarch.
Oh, that's the vampire type, right?
Yeah,
she's patrician. That's what that is.
Yeah. She is a patrician. Patrician Michal, the patriarch. A matriarch, gosh dang it. You got me mixed up, Jackson. And she walks down and kind of holds a hand up to her mouth, seeing everyone step out in black uniforms. And you walk forward. And the Lord Militant speaks first and says, "Your husband was a good man." And nods his head and steps back. Do you have anything to say, Selthor? I mean, not Selthor, Hule.
What would he say? Something to the tune of, we did everything we could to save him, and we're still working on bringing those responsible to justice.
You and the Kavanaugh and Ackerman step to the sides as you and Selthor step forward, and you pull the velvet bags off, revealing these black, ornate, obsidian, stone-like plaques with a gold badge on them, emblazoned in the old style that Jeffrey so much preferred over the modern things. Instead of a fist and a sword, it's a shield, and behind the shield there is an open hand. And Selthor removes his, and it is two swords crossed, but again in front of them is a shield. You hand over the plaques, and she nods her head and stifles a sniffle and turns away to not look at you as she takes the awards and heads back inside, and her assistant comes out. Ackerman approaches you and looks at you and says, "Hule von Gemsbach, I believe we have business to attend to. As soon as you're available, of course," he says, glancing at the stack of piles in your hand.
Oh.
And turns.
But of course, any place you'd like to meet? Your office, mine?
Your office will do fine. He turns and walks away, gesturing for Selthor to follow, and the Lord Militant turns around with an imperious huff and walks away, seemingly self-satisfied with the fact that his greatest political opponent is dead.
He said her assistant came out?
Yes. Michal's assistant comes out and says, the mistress needs some time alone. We've written for her boys to come here. Have you planned for a funeral?
I've only found out earlier today. I'm so sorry. If I had known what he was doing that day, I would have done things differently.
Let's not pretend any of us ever knew what Jeffrey was doing.
He had a lot of everything in the fire.
Yeah,
he was a good man.
Say that.
Well, he was a man who wanted to do a lot of good.
Yes, he most certainly did.
So,
what can we do for you?
He said that there were some case files left in the garage. Once everyone else is out of earshot.
In the garage? She turns and walks over there, and you can see the thing where it's roped off where that creature came out the other night, and it's been mostly repaired already. She opens up a side door, and you walk in, and his garage is a massive affair, larger than some homes.
Ooh.
There are 4 different types of cars, all in different states of being taken apart or put back together. And one of them that seems to have been in the most complete state of being put back together, probably functional, is destroyed as this black burnt thing has come out of the trunk and more or less destroyed the car where the origin of whatever that cursed creature was.
Wow, I haven't seen this since the files were put on it. Oh.
Mm-hmm. In addition to that, on the other end of the garage is the stone ends abruptly, and if you were standing in that side of the room, not looking behind you, you could forget you were in a garage because it's a wooden. There are suddenly planks on the floor, planks in the walls, ornate carvings, little hang things. He's got a secondary office set up right here that looks right into his workshop. You look around, you see there are all kinds of tools in here, and it's easy to conclude that Jeffrey was a man who dabbled with mechanicking, and this was his personal projects, not someone else's stuff. in addition, you see all of his papers and whatnot right there. And your passive perception is 21.
Oh no, that's higher than that. Is it? Let me double check. I think that's my investigation.
Okay.
Where's my character sheet? It's not pulling up right.
It might be like 28 or something like that.
That's 28. Yes,
It is
25
28,
is
yeah. Your passive
because
perception,
of
yeah.
dumb advantage stuff. Investigation is
You
25 passive.
Yeah. You see a slit in the wall. Invisible to most people's eyes, but you're
Yeah,
ridiculous.
This is what I was born for, or
you
made
see it.
for.
You see it there, and this is obviously the secret door he was talking about. Passive investigation of 25 easily clears the DC of 20 that I'd set for this.
Sorry.
You walk over to an inkwell and twist it, and then push it into his desk, and the door clicks, and you see the garage door gets a shadow that goes over it, and no one can see out, nor could you see in, even if the door was open. All the other doors close and lock, and then red lines go across them, and you recognize that as like some kind of magical arcane seal. And then the door, the little sealed area, kind of slides outward a little bit, and the assistant gasps as if she'd never known anything was here.
Oh, did you not know about this?
No.
Oh, he told me I was with him when he was passing from the poison. Sorry, but he had mentioned this was here and that there were personal files of the utmost secrecy. So I wasn't sure if it was. I guess that means it was national if he didn't tell you guys. Do I have permission to enter?
I mean, yeah. She gestures forward.
Thank you. You're welcome to come with me. I don't. I'd like everything to be as above board as possible if it gives y'all peace of mind.
She kind of looks around and says, well, I mean, it's not like anyone would ever know. Glancing at all the magical seals and whatnot on everything. And then she walks down. Passive perception, again, on a 28. You would probably notice that in addition to everything else, your radio immediately started producing static as soon as the seals came on.
I still talk to my shadows, or did it sever the hive mind?
Your hive is not destroyed, but it's like anything that wasn't pre-recorded isn't happening. You can probably assume anything that wasn't pre-recorded has stopped happening.
So all the calls are just hanging right now. I'm like, oh well. I'll deal with that when I get back to it.
So you head down this long flight of stairs till you come to an elevator, and the two of you descend all the way down. The assistant kind of like wipes in front of her face and becomes a dude. And his skin goes completely pale, like becomes just like as if you as if you just wiped the texture off of something is like what happens to her, and then it comes back on with a different face. Changeling comes back on with a different face and becomes a different person and says, and kind of looks at you and nods. And
you are the regular assistant, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I hope you'll forgive me if I have to check that later. I'm not used.
Of course not.
Nothing against changelings. It's just, the job.
I completely understand. But I was brought on for my ability to be discreet. Myself and my brother. This is his face he normally uses.
Oh.
You guys, the elevator clicks to a stop, and it opens up to papers everywhere. You know what Jeffrey's office looked like, and it's just that times 1,000 because there's 1,000 times more space in here. Papers piled high, things all over the walls. Different passive perception. You instantly know he was running like 12 different investigations simultaneously in here. Some of them as high profile as it gets, and some of them seemingly irrelevant.
Because you never know what's going to become relevant.
Right. In addition to that, like, and they might be relevant, but they lack any obvious connections to you.
Yeah.
You don't understand how they'd be relevant in any way. And there's no obvious connections, but like he's got, the pins with the red lines, dragging between different things.
All the criminal boards.
Right.
Old fashioned because he's classy like that.
Exactly. Give me an intelligence check, because it's not investigation, it's not passive perception. I just want to see if you can decipher his system of organization in here.
What is? Oh my word! For whatever reason, I have the PDF. I don't even know what you call it. I have the thing pulled up, but it's not what I want it to be. Neither here nor there. I'm gonna double check something.
Okay.
Because this is not my. I just need to make sure I don't have an advantage from a thing, and so help me if I know where I wrote it, because this document has changed.
Do keep in mind that Mike is with you, and he's been pretty helpful in a lot of different things.
Is there an option to be like, so help me, Mike, please?
I mean, if you need help, yeah, you can ask Mike for a hand.
I'll bloody well ask him, because I get advantage in any questioning and interrogations, not in doing my job. That was one of the ones I was. Anyhow, I didn't take it. Doesn't matter. Shared mind and household. Okay, cool.
So what'd you roll for investigation?
Whopping 11 on my. I rolled a 7, and
wow,
my intelligence is not that great, so it was. Yeah. That's why I was checking. Like, please let it be a number other than that, because my neck.
Your what?
So does Mike give me advantage, or is that a separate issue?
Mike, looking around, Mike gives you the help action and gives you advantage. Sure.
That brings it to a 19.
19.
Yeah, 19.
On a 19, you're able to decipher his little. This is just to decipher his organizational system, like just to see if you can take in all this. Like, obviously, you can see everything because your passive perception is just so high.
But making
can you put that
sense of his brain is an intuition on a different level.
But you look around, and at first you're just completely flabbergasted. And then Mike points out that the Lord Marshal was obviously ADHD, and this is actually very well organized for him. And everything is in order of how he's using it. Like, it's stacked the way it is because if he doesn't see it, it doesn't exist.
So he has everything visible.
Yes. So you just have to separate it by lines and go, oh, okay, that's what this is. That's what this is. They're not connected because they're right next to each other. They're right next to each other so that it's visible. And once you realize that, it becomes pretty obvious how this place is organized. Admittedly, once you figured that out, it's actually really neatly organized and easy enough to figure out where everything is and all the different connections. So there's like 1,000 square foot warehouse down here. In the back, there's like another vehicle that's like black and taken apart with big wheels and armored parts on it. There's like a glass case to the side where you see his old Rithmet armor. Oh, Rithmet's a terrible word. Why did I ever think that was a good word? It's old Hyperion armor. The armor of the Hyperions that he wore back while he was a soldier.
Is it enhanced at all, or is it just straight up the armor for memory's sake, like a?
Oh no! It's armor that Hyperions wore. The patricians. I don't know if I ever explained this to you. I explained it to Siren. Well, I mentioned it in passing to Siren. Okay, the patrician, not the patrician. The progenitor had many different generals. The people he directly sired. Those people were called Hyperions. Anyone that was directly sired by the progenitor was a Hyperion. And they each had, different sets of armor. The Lord Marshal Jeffrey very clearly had one of these suits of armor. It's unmistakable from its backlight, its bat-like stylings and whatnot. It's sleek black, almost glass texture. But very clearly it's way more durable than glass, but it almost looks like glass in the way it's assembled somehow. Anyways, all that kind of stuff. So you could very fairly assume that it has some severe magical properties to it.
And an impeccable price point.
Yeah, like priceless. Most of the Hyperions went mad and started killing people after the patrician after the progenitor died. Yeah, and so they became what are known as Vargheists, mad creatures that are vampires.
No intellect, but pure rage. The beast
they look like
vampires.
They don't even look like humans anymore. They look like large bat-like creatures. No one knows where they are.
Presumably they all died.
Presumably, yes.
That'll be a bad campaign once.
Anyways, so here you are. Where do you want to start? Like, there's the tank in the back. There's his little like office setup. There's different desks lining the walls right and left. There are the wall pens, with all those cases and whatnot, and all the connections between them. There are the papers stacked high. There's his personal stuff with his armor and all that other kind of stuff.
Where would you like to start? Know me better than this. I can't use the stuff at my office anyway. So I will dissolve everything in my office to, I'm sure, the great panic of somebody. And
I did say that Carlene came with you. Did you bring her into this place?
Yes.
Okay, so there's three of you in here.
I'll disband everything at home and send out anything that crawls and flies without wind.
Okay.
I don't want anything disturbed, so it'd be like dragonfly-esque. A lot of those, like, turning into a net around the room to just read everything all at once.
Okay, I'm gonna need a pretty high intelligence check to try and understand everything all at once.
Okay, that's fine. Is that with advantage or not?
I don't know that even with Mike helping you that'd be easy. Yeah, roll at advantage. Go ahead.
All right, then I won't. It's a 19.
19.
Wait, is that intelligence? Just raw intelligence, right?
Raw intelligence, yeah.
Yeah, he's not that smart. 19.
Well, that is a good roll. It's a little overwhelming trying to read everything at once. I'm going to need you to pick a section.
And that's more for, now that I want to have options to see everything in this room, I myself will walk to the armor and tank because tank first, because I want to see what its significance was here in his secret tunnel versus everything else. But nonetheless, I will have like a back feed going through of any like trying to scan highlights for any high profile cases.
Okay, yeah.
If there's anything involving Norschfletz or anything connected to his murder is what all the bugs will be looking for. And if I find a keyword, the others will, lower focus so I can find that.
Yeah. So you walk up to the tank, and it's too small to be like a proper tank. It's just this thick armored black vehicle taken apart. You walk over to it, and passive investigation 25. It seems to be some kind of advanced stealth vehicle, built for reconnaissance but at the same time able to take a hit. It's very mobile despite its heavy armor. It must have cost a fortune to have gotten made. And again, on a passive perception and whatnot, wild. There is an opening in the ceiling. Like there are no rolls that you're going to have to make for investigation or perception, basically ever.
That's why the character was made. That's
Yep. That was
either that or get reliable talent on top of all that. Which I don't think either of us wanted.
Get elven accuracy, triple advantage.
I mean,
You can't. You're not an elf. You look
I
up.
can be. Wait, is nothing you can do as a vampire if you drink enough of their blood?
That's not a thing, no.
Okay.
You look up. Oh, Masca's Own. Yes, that is an ability you can do as a vampire. It is the hold up. That is an ability of the Masca's Own. Masca's Own. It is a Nightwalker. Are you a Nightwalker?
No, I am a
Yeah.
Vaughn.
Yeah. So no, that's not an ability you have. Anyways, there is an opening above it where you could see the carriage could rise into the sky and leave somehow. So he obviously had a way to get in and out of here with this thing aside from the elevator.
So when he wasn't working, he could also be Batman.
Yeah, sure. That's one. I just realized he's Batman.
Oh no. ADHD Batman takes... Oh, that's beautiful. Except stealthy, not loud. And oh my... Yep, okay. Cool.
The armor in the glass case!
I work for Batman. I'm sorry. I didn't want to... Yep, okay. Let me just write that in my notes, Germ. You're only... What's it? You're only as cool as your most obscure reference? It's in your
You're
subconscious.
You're only as original as your most obscure reference. I hadn't even planned. Okay.
Okay, so Batman died. That's his only name from now on. I think we all agree. Put that in bold in my notes. Okay.
Okay,
So it's not working right now.
No, it seems to have been taken apart. It looks like he was doing upgrades on it. Implementing some kind of... You're not sure what. There are syringes. I say syringes, but that's like the wrong term.
Okay.
Then that's kind of what they are. They're giant syringes. Think hydraulic presses, hydraulic pistons, with full of this black globular liquid with pipes hooked up to them that are plugged into the armor plates. And it seems the armor plates are porous that can be filled with this. It looks like he was replacing the old plates with these new ones that could be filled with this black liquid. Beyond that, yeah, that's about it.
Is it obvious how that works, or is this some custom concoction?
It's pretty. Oh, what the black liquid does,
or either what the black liquid does from is this something that is the black liquid a known substance in
no, definitely
nerdy
not.
communities, or is this probably some proprietary blend? Point out to Carlian to make a note of.
Yeah,
we've got chemicals, need a lab for some of this. Take the Jeffrey Mobile and
the Jeffrey.
Sorry, Jeff Mobile.
There is a nameplate on there, but I'm not going to tell you what it is now.
Can I read the nameplate? I don't want to call it the Jeff Mobile. It seems disrespectful. That was just... I didn't have a name for the armored stealth vehicle in his garage. To shout across the way to Carlian.
It's named after his daughter. It is in his home language, it's a couple of guttural sounds and coughs almost. But translated to Lavasan and thereby English, it is Maisie. It's named after his daughter. After looking at all that,
that's all
I'm trying to think of anything else of note that's over
about
here.
Right?
Yeah. It looks armed. I think it's very clearly armed to the teeth.
Yeah.
It's got two bi-rail guns that can go a long continuous beam like a flashlight or a laser. They fire a small pulse. Beam rifles aren't super practical in most instances, other than like a controlled area where you're trying to cut something, because they generate a lot of smoke, they generate a lot of steam. And unless you have something to clear that away, the laser gets disrupted. And what's more, they overheat things pretty quickly. But he has 2 beam rifles on it, and then a couple of pulse rifles on it. I say rifles; they're weapons that are built into the core of this
pulse
thing.
Rifle, but in the car integrated. So I guess you call them integrated weapons. Yeah.
Integrated weaponry, yeah. IW. And then in the driver's seat, it seems pretty ergonomic. Like all of his displays are set up a little bit, so he's not looking down at things. It looks like the seat is, again, 28 perception. Is not made from normal material. Obviously, it's got some kind of leather. Something that looks like leather covering it, but you can tell it's stretchy. And if you reach out and touch it, the thing conforms to the shape of your hand.
Yeah.
So it's like you would sit down in this thing and then it would conform to your shape and be like, you would not even notice it's there. And it becomes your body temperature when which for you is nothing, because you're a vampire. But yeah, you touch it and it becomes your body temperature. So you would literally forget it was there.
Yeah. So that's just one more level on.
Yeah.
Nice, fancy schmancy custom rides, and probably great shock absorber in the seat and the frame and everything else.
And looking around it, yes, it is. It has
the
treads.
Roof,
it has treads and it can very clearly fly. What's more is you notice that underneath the plates are engraved glyphs, I guess what you'd call them. You've actually been looking into magic, so you know what they are. They are enchantments. They're one time or maybe multiple time, you're not quite sure, enchantments. Roll. And you have
Arcana?
you have perfect memory, don't you?
It's not perfect. I have observant. I don't have keen mind.
Okay.
That's at level 8.
Yeah, give me a history check.
But you can give me a perfect memory if you want. Is it history or arcana?
History.
Cool.
Right now I'm trying to see if you've looked through anything that's covered this exact thing.
17?
Yeah, you have. It's a shield. That's what this thing has, multiple instances of shield installed around it. So not only is this thing physically armed to the teeth, but it's magically protected. And you can tell that there are safety measures put in place to like instantly detonate and destroy this thing with what appear to be either fireball or, thunderbolt or something, like some hyper destructive spell. It might even be disintegrate. Just something that will destroy this thing if something whatever triggers it. You're not sure what triggers it at the moment. But other than that, there's not really anything important that you can see other than the liquid over here by this thing.
Oh, and the fact that he has it.
Yeah, and the fact that he has it.
Yikes.
Yeah. What was he doing with this? Who knows?
I'm sure it's somewhere. Because he has to get information from somewhere, and if he's taking pictures, well, it's probably going to be evident. Or he's Batman.
And you wanted to go to the armor next. You walk up to the armor. The first thing you notice is the thing, the case can open and close. And the armor has definitely been worn recently.
Peter.
As you approach,
I'm expecting there to be some kind of like traps, or
Mike looks at it and looks at you in the glass and says, "That thing is alive."
Oh. And just like speaking at him in the mirror, does it have a name?
Mike shrugs. I don't know.
You don't even barely knew your own people and names. It's a piece of. Can't people just have names on the name tag? This is why we have these in the bloody marshalship. Everyone's gonna get a name tag from here on out.
Other than the armor, you see the gauntlets. Up on the gauntlets appear to be some kind of claws that could pop out from the gauntlets. So he's got armor on that, weapons on that. You've never seen Jeffrey without his sidearms, but in here you see two sidearms that don't look like his normal sidearms. They do, in the sense that, they have the same pearl handles and grips, and the sleek black design with the white highlighting everything, but they look less conventional. They look more high tech. Not custom. They don't look like normal weapons. Like normal weapons that you've seen still have, like an opening and they fire a projectile or whatnot. Most enforcer or marshalship weapons.
Are these magic?
They don't. Give me an Arcana check.
Ah, dang it. Why the rolling trash today? It's like a 4. Have a mage come check these out.
It not obviously magical.
Why did Hassel have to go and die?
But no, he definitely there are 2 of them. His 2 sidearms like he normally has. And they are his normal sidearms were SMGs, and these look more like Desert Eagles.
Wait, what's an SMG look like? I have to. Oh, okay. Those his sidearm.
Yeah.
Yikes,
dude, he's a vampire.
Like, is it P90 or an Uzi? What kind of submachine gun are we talking about?
Have you
for the normal stuff?
Have you seen Have you played Halo 2?
Yes.
Do you remember what the SMG looked like in that?
I can remember really fast when I look it up.
If you Google it, you'll see what
Where it just looks like a pistol on steroids?
Yeah.
Okay.
With a front grip.
Yeah. That was his sidearm.
He had 2 of those as his sidearms. And that's what he'd normally fight with. And
it's a P90 without the back. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. And so, it's this crazy pistol on steroids that was like, wow, okay. And in addition to that, he also had those were his normal sidearms, and you don't see them here because obviously he had them on him when he died.
Yes.
But these weapons here, they seem pretty advanced and pretty technological. So now, not only did he have, this crazy advanced armor, he also had these super secret, crazy advanced pistols. Other than that, over here you see a nice. Screw it. You see a black suit. You see a black and silver lined tailored suit. That would
like tuxedo suit or
outfit. Tuxedo suit. I'm trying to think. More old fashioned though.
Formal suit, more gangstery, but nice silver lining.
Like kind of like an old like 1800s, 1800s, 1900s, that kind of in their kind of suit, the long tailcoats, that sort of thing.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So it's very, very that kind of thing, but done in a more modern style. If that makes sense. Like it's like someone looked at those kind of clothes and like, I can do that, but let me put a sci-fi twist on it.
Yeah, I get you.
And so that's what they did, and
he can be Superman.
Yeah. And it's a really cool looking suit. It's black. It's got a nice silver texture to it, and you do notice it in fact has a texture. Like doesn't look like it's made out of cloth. You look in and it's like almost like leather, but way finer dimples than you'd ever find on leather, and like way more thin and flexible. Again, behind a glass door that opens whenever you get close to it. It just slides open. You can feel it.
They're self-opening? It's not like trigger activated and keyed. He just assumed this was a safe place?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, yikes.
Well, I mean, considering the security outside...
He was not paranoid enough. That's why he died in Batman didn't.
Well,
I mean, he's a vampire. He already died.
Right.
Oh.
Anyway, so yeah, here you go. There's all this stuff.
And I'm just gonna write that as a super leather suit.
Okay, that sure.
It's.
You've looked at
it's a leatherish material.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And
so now that you've looked at that, what else would you like to look at?
Hopefully one of the bugs. Is there any other exits on foot? Is there any back tunnel out of this place?
No, there are no other tunnels.
Okay, so this seems to be a sky roof. You can go up, you can go to the elevator, or you don't go. There's not a stairs. There's not a backup.
Yeah.
Okay.
That you can see. No, there is. Considering your
Yes.
passive perception, you're pretty certain there is no secret entrance.
Yeah, I'll assume. Okay, cool. Which makes it easier. So taking the bug swarms that are around the room, just like hit me with a slideshow of all the ones that have seemed interesting, and see if there's anything that directly connects to his. That seems like it would connect to his death. Is my.
You see a lot of things about the Lord Militant in some high-profile. Actually, there's stuff on all the cabinet members. There's a lot of dirt on a lot of different people, and there are piles upon piles of him trying to determine what the politically appropriate thing to do with the information is. Like, there's just a lot of him dancing around. It seems that Jeffrey had a way of thinking of he writes down to think. And so
helpful.
All of his thoughts are kind of on paper here, and there's just a lot of thinking of like, oh, if I say this, then I make this person an enemy, and the country's already fractured enough like this, so if I do this, there could be a civil
war. And if I accuse the entire cabinet,
right,
then they'll just turn on me.
And he's also already, an outsider and already kind of rocking the boat hard enough, so he has to tread very carefully. He obviously has done a lot of investigating. He deserved, he got to his position by
hard work.
Not
initially
only
he got it by the thing.
Yeah, by scheming and by selling people out and by being, just a political player. Yeah, he was very Machiavellian, but he definitely deserved this position. He did the investigation, he did the work, and he had his place here.
Is machinations from Machiavellian?
It might be. I don't know. Let me I
think from the Latin machinate, to contrive.
Yep, that's exactly where it's from. Cool. No, Machiavelli. Wait, Machiavelli.
That might be where Machiavelli got his name, but that's a separate issue.
Yeah. Anyways, that would make sense because Machiavellian means convoluted. Anyways, yeah. Whenever someone says Machiavellian, they mean an overly complicated system.
And usually with evil or negative connotations.
It can, yeah.
Immoral usually is kind of the
implied.
And justify the means.
Yeah. Anyways, so you're in here, and there's a lot of that, and again, his thoughts are just on paper about the dirt he has and why he didn't just openly
publish everything.
And one of those things is the party. You went to a party, and someone tried to sneak away with some information about an assassin, if you remember correctly.
Wait, what?
Do you remember going to the party and stopping the assassin, which got you hired?
Yes.
Do you remember that you said what's her name is trying to do something? And
Priscilla is trying to steal information from the assassin, yes.
Yes.
Or she's trying to steal the artifact.
Yep.
Which was the teleportation artifact from the assassin.
Right.
And then lied about it. Yeah.
And included in there is that, and why he didn't immediately turn her over. And that is because there were Norse involved that were there watching y'all, that had been there to protect her. And it appears that he sent you away because he was afraid they were going to attack if they did anything too overt at that time. And so he did not want, another massacre just after.
Yeah.
But other than that, other than just general dirt and just political ramblings, while it is useful that he wrote his thoughts down, there is no punctuation and there is no, he's not writing on lined paper, and obviously he was not good at staying in line, and it's just scribbled on the paper. As tightly as he could get it. There's very little spacing.
Stream of consciousness. Oh, man.
Yeah, so it is there. It does exist. Hard to read, but not necessarily super useful because it is just a stream of consciousness. Sometimes in the middle of the page, he'll stop talking about whatever case he's talking about and start talking about, what he's going to eat for lunch. just on the
Yeah.
same page because he's just
Which,
writing it down.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. On the bright side, I have that magically isolated and protected home base of operations I was looking for.
There
Turns
you go.
out it
You
already
do.
existed. Is there anything on how he got this thing built? Or who is his contact for all the crazy technomagic stuff he did?
Yes, there is something on the person he got to help him build this. It is a person by the name of... Hold up.
Just wherever the first files are, like, just go there, put a piece of paper in this, like, I don't know, put my notepad in the stack, grab a folder out of the middle, and just Jenga tower it, and just hope nothing else falls over.
Right. I hate this. My phone keeps going off on me because Pinterest.
Turn it off.
People are starting following me on Pinterest, and I'm getting like 100 notifications a day. It's really annoying.
Can you not mute Pinterest?
I can, but I forgot. I keep forgetting to because I normally have my phone on silent or it's turned off while I'm at work. So I just
That's fair.
always forget it. Anyways, yes, there is someone real quick. I have to
No worries.
Shebnar.
Shebnar.
Sheb. It's Chebner. Shebnar. He's a special forces agent.
Chebner?
Chebner. Shebnar.
Okay. I could have sworn I was missing a letter. I'm like, that's
Nope.
Shebner. All right.
Yep. And Shebnar he was as a special forces person working trained under Ackerman alongside the Dragon Knight. And Shebnar was using Sarah's research to create a lot of this stuff.
Oh.
It seems he was stealing stuff from the marshalship before Sarah was able to do anything with it. Shebnar also has notes about...
Stealing from or for the marshalship?
It's not the marshalship. Stealing for the marshalship. Stealing from the militant, the science division. And blocking information from Sarah's mind about the stuff he had stolen. Using some kind of mind magics on her. The poor girl. I just thought about all the mind magics she's had thrown at her.
You'd think she would just get a metal skull cap or something.
And
isn't there a way to be immune to that?
Then he put down a paper. Then he there's a report later on in the files that says that he was no longer able to, as some incredibly advanced mental fortifications were put into place. Someone realized something was up and put up some highly advanced mental fortifications.
And I will assume Davenid, because he worked closely and seemed obsessive and could read thoughts.
It was not recently enough for Davenid, you think, to have done that.
Oh, was this like years ago, or?
This was years ago, yes.
Oh.
This game, I wanna remind you, has only been going on for in universe about 6 months.
Yeah. But I thought Sarah and Davenid worked previously?
They did, but Sarah was always... Yes, they did. You're right. Yes, they did. But Davenid was never in a position of authority around to have been able to pull off something like this on his own. It would have been...
Okay.
It would have been, either Ackerman or the previous senior of technology, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So you have all this information right there showing you, someone working with the Lord Marshal, spying on Ackerman and other such people.
And does give his race or any of... I know it shouldn't, because he would just write down as his name. But
no, it doesn't. It doesn't give his race or any of that. But obviously,
I was hoping there'd be a
name.
comment of freaking half orcs or something.
No, you see his he does have, even in his writings, like even in just his ramblings, Jeffrey seems to be a genuinely nice dude. Like,
yeah.
He as far as a as far as he can
as
be,
much as as much as you can be while being an occasionally evil activity. But hey, not everyone who does bad things is a bad person.
There is something that pops up in your radar. Something
Mhm.
about Prince. Do you want that to be
Oh,
brought? Do you want that to be brought into focus?
yeah.
It is.
While I'm here just downloading like his entire life story in the office. Oh, so help me.
Jeffrey is writing about how to deal with Prince. He says, I like the kid. He's very useful. He's a wonderful agent. It's sad that we have to see him go, but you know, we can't allow this kind of insubordination, so he's obviously broken the law and I have to go kill him. But every other writing instance of Prince that you bring into focus, because Prince worked with the Lord Marshal a lot before that time, seems to be highly praising of him. Like, there is no animosity toward Prince from Jeffrey. Jeffrey just kind of had this logical approach of, oh, this has happened, so I've got to fix it now.
And once you openly try to incite rebellion, that's you're a criminal. Right. What he was doing was great. He just needed to be in a different position to do that.
Right. And so, and like, there's other instances of things like that, like especially surrounding. There's actually a lot now that you've brought Prince into focus. You realize Prince comes up a disproportionately large amount of times in these writings.
Oh, that's probably like his, would-be son.
And looking around,
his Timothy.
And looking around through all this stuff, you see that Prince actually came into the employ of the Lord Marshal, not because of Prince, but because of the Lord Marshal. The Lord Marshal seems to have sought him out before he ever even had a name. Like, as soon as he joined, it appeared Jeffrey was putting inquiries in about this person.
Like, as soon as he joined the marshalship?
As soon as he joined as a lowly enforcer. As soon as he graduated,
Jeffrey had a beam. What's the word for that?
Bead,
yeah.
Had a, like he was citing him out. And looking around, you see there's a lot of information and research into the Charmaine family. It appears that the Charmaine family has a long history of hold up, where is it? Why can I not think of things when I need to? Of dragools. In fact, Prince Charmaine's grandfather was a dragool. Not grandfather, grandmother was a dragool, and she was not sterile, and she gave birth to her son, who was a half vampire, who gave birth to Prince, who was a quarter vampire. It appears that Prince had all the advantages of being a vampire without any of the weaknesses. It's like, even though he was a quarter vampire and shouldn't have had that kind of thing, he did. Like, he behaved like a half vampire, while being a quarter vampire, which shouldn't have been possible. Funnily enough, you notice that in the Charmaine line, is
because dragools are the only ones that can be fertile, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, that is correct. The exception, you notice that in there is a going back in Prince's line, as he did, there's like a whole like family tree arrayed. You see that the Arnok family actually came from the Charmaine family. And
piss. Oh wow, I'll kill him later.
So, you mind saying out loud for the recording what you just put together?
The claim that Davenant had of there was never previously recorded a whatever fraction vampire that he was being able to sire something.
This is correct. There are no previous examples of that.
Inference, you can get the benefits of a generation above you if you have Dragul blood, which they clearly do by virtue of shared blood. Cool.
Thank you for that. Like, dude, I've been sitting on this information for so long. Anyways, that's what you found on Prince. Anything else you wanted to look into specifically?
Guilty of the vampire spawn. I need to put this in bold real quick before I remember to go kill him. Yikes. The list of
dirt?
No, the list of people in the marshalship.
Oh, your contacts that you needed.
And there's actually 2 more steps. The first one is contacts in the marshalship, and as well as all the people that can't be trusted, or the people that can't, I need the alignment chart, the bribe chart, and his subjective opinion chart in the marshalship.
You want the chart? It's in my head. I will give it to you.
Oh, so help me. Let me start a new paragraph.
So you have...
I can't even spell marshalship. 1 second. Marshal, not marshal.
So to make this easier on you, I'm going to start with the marshals, and then I'll start with titles. Like everyone that I give you in a list will have the same title. So starting with marshals and high marshals.
Okay.
You have Matthias von Enoch. You have Barnabas Gale.
Are these good, bad?
You want? Oh, I can. Yeah, both of those people are. The first one's lawful evil, and the second one would be
Matthias von Enoch and who?
So Matthias von Enoch, and then Barnabas Gale. Matthias von Enoch is lawful evil. Barnabas Gale would be chaotic good.
Barnabas Gale, chaotic good.
And then you have Horatio. Excuse me. Horatio Kernans the Sylvanian. And he would be a true neutral person. And then you'd have... I'm just going to give you first names because it's going to be a lot easier for me. Because I have to remember, the titles and whatnot that attach to him. You have a Dare, which is Daire. And he's not trustworthy, but he's been bribed and has been paid off. Like everyone, he just gives information to anyone who pays him. He behaves like, oh, I only give information to you because you paid me.
Chaotic neutral.
Yeah. He's just being paid.
Selfish.
Yeah, he's just getting
whatever the selfish alignment is.
So, but like he's reliable in his unreliability. Like he's going to give you the information, but at the same time, he's going to give other people who have paid him the information. So like if you
give him anything, it will be sold.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Which can be used, because he's going to sell it, and you see there's a list of people who he's selling to. Information will get around to these people, so if you tell him something, these people know something. So you could use that to your
and
advantage.
he also has a list of the people Dare disseminates to.
Yes. Dare disseminates to a lot of people, but most prominently are the cabinet members, the patrician, and where did the cabinet go? There we go. Havelock Vetinari, the Lord Patrician, Havelock Vetinari, and Matriarch Hyperion von Wittelsbach.
That sounds Matriarch. That's the church person, right?
No, that's the Sylvanian. That's the High Dragon, the Sylvanian. That's the church person. Matriarch Hyperion von Wittelsbach is the "Why, hello there" person.
Was she not cabinet?
She is cabinet, yes.
Oh, okay. These cabinet members, not all the cabinet members and these people. I thought Lord Patrician was cabinet.
Yes, he is. The Lord Patrician Havelock Vetinari is a cabinet member, and the High Consul Matriarch von Hyperion von Wittelsbach.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool. Those are the people in the cabinet that he's bought at.
That he is selling information to, yes. So those two specifically are giving information to him. Next on this list, like those were, and then there's one more. Hydus Kane. He's a lawful neutral. Very
Okay,
reliable.
this is a separate person.
Yeah.
Let me just edit the note. Hydus Kane
Is lawful neutral, as in lawful stupid, absolute law. He is
good.
not good.
Oh, I mean, it's good to use. I can't trust him, but it's good to know.
He is absolutely, the law says this, therefore that is morally what is right. What is right and wrong does not matter. What the law says matters.
But he's someone you could give a rubric, give him the law, and he would tell you all the loopholes in the law.
No.
Couldn't it?
Yes.
Or
He would
like,
say,
oh, well, these are the people. It's not. It might hurt some people, but this is all technically legal.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Cool. That'll be useful.
Yeah. So yeah. So that's just
It's actually a really good idea.
He is not, like I said, he's not a good guy, and Jeffrey comments on the fact that the guy is not a good person, but he is very much so the single most reliable person in the country, probably. And then last is Zidon Lazarus, a mysterious martial figure that kind of went AWOL, but at the same time, like, pops up randomly with information on whatever relevant case he's working on. Zidon is spelled Zeidan, and then Lazarus is how you spell
Zeidon.
Dan.
I had
Zidon.
Wait.
Zidon.
Zidane.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zidon Lazarus.
I had a ZYDON going on, so thank you for spelling it.
But yeah, Zidon Lazarus he puts him in as he writes him down as unreliable, but very clever and like knows what's going on.
And informed, okay.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, those are the more
and unreliable in the sense of you can't get him to show up when you need him.
Yes, that kind of unreliable.
Okay.
Next are some people in the Norschlitz. A Dominique who is
structuring notes.
Yeah, you can let me know.
A Dominique or just Dominique?
Dominique. So it's Dominique.
Perfect.
She is a
and kind of like all these vampires, by the way.
Yes, everyone so far
cool.
has been a vampire. She is a wash-up who like failed a lot of different things, but through a series of natural 20s managed to stumble herself into a Norschlitz position. She's like super unqualified for where she is, but she's crazy lucky, and that's why she's succeeded so far. But like at the same time, she came from a place of really bad luck. So she had like a series of natural ones followed by a series of natural 20s to get her where she is. And because of those natural ones, she has a lot of bad stuff attached to her. And the Lord Marshal was using that bad stuff attached to her to manipulate her to get her to do what he needed her to do. So he had her in her pocket by blackmailing her. Again, she's not really qualified to do anything. She's just been so lucky that she turned out to be useful.
And that everyone will abuse that if they can, because that's inferiority complex as well as qualification.
Right. Next is a Norschlitz by the name of Alice Ursula. She is lawful evil.
Is Dominique alignment ?
Dominique is, you don't know. He doesn't say anything about her. He says that she's not a bad person, so you can assume she's some kind of good alignment. Just criminally incompetent. Criminally incompetent, but combined with wild luck is Dominique.
Halfling with a lucky feat. Aha.
And
How'd she even become a vampire? What in the...
wild luck, man. Like the story behind her, like he has the story written down, and it's one of the only formatted pieces of information in here. It's like lined paper, written out,
Like,
print in
is
print.
out of character though? Is there an actual
Huh?
who is out of character? Is this like someone's character? Did someone was this another like a one shot somewhere?
I don't know,
Or were
Jackson.
you,
Was it?
it sounds like it would be Germ the way you're talking about ones and 20s. Oh, never mind. There are other one shots. I won't worry about that. Okay. There are other campaigns in this universe. I just got like, that's so specific. Why would he put so much work into an NPC? Seems like a waste of time. Never mind.
But
I'm
she
good person, unknown alignment because the player doesn't know.
um,
That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, moving on. Alice Ursula.
lawful
Unless you want to
evil.
give me the story.
She is she's gonna sell information to whoever comes to her, but like she's gonna hold her word. Like when you've paid her to do something, she's gonna do it. Like not a good person, but like bound to a code. Like, oh, I came to you, bought this information from you. Don't tell anyone else. How much will that cost me? Oh, that'll cost me this. Oh, that's an exorbitant price. You're robbing me blind. But at the same time, I know you're going to keep your word whenever I pay you this exorbitant price, whatever it is.
Yes. Whatever your price is, it is her price, and she can be bought.
Yeah. And once she is bought, there is no being unbought.
Yeah. Good.
Lawful evil. Next.
And I assume she'll tell you if she is already bought.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. Unless, she was told not to. By being bought. Next is a Buffy Jacqueline, who seems that is a guy in the Northflits that seems Jeffrey has been stringing along by a series of love interests for him.
What?
Jeffrey has a couple of girls in lower ranking places that have been manipulating him, because the guy seems to be just this piece of crap human, who is like just I don't know how to explain it. There's that stereotype of the boss that's like only there to like abuse the people under him, and that seems to be kind of what Buffy is. And he was using that idea of that person to take advantage of him, and it's a very clever ploy, but maybe not the most savory thing on the planet.
Yeah, it's clearly unethical on a lot of levels, and people are getting hurt. But also, he's getting what he wants, so it worked. Right. That's his whole shtick.
And the last one is just simply labeled Xanth. And Xanth is this.
Oh, and was Buffy's alignment?
Oh, Buffy would be probably like some kind of chaotic evil or something like that.
Cool, that's what I wrote. So Xanth.
It's Xanthe.
Whoop. Stop it with your bad letter systems. Xanth?
The.
Oh, because yes.
Xanth.
That sounds like a drug, by the way, not a person.
It's just one word, Xanth. And he has this. Again, Xanth has this wild story of coming from outside of Lavassa, chasing Jeffrey here, getting inducted into the Northflits by some other people, and then like in the process of trying to chase Jeffrey down, like for like a vendetta of some sort, and trying to kill him numerous times.
Oh.
And there's like this love-hate relationship going back and forth between them that stretches back 100 years or so.
Oh.
And eventually they kind of came to this understanding of one another, and then they didn't like each other. They definitely hated each other, but they both wanted Lavassa to continue. They both want what's best for Lavassa, and their idea of what is best for Lavassa aligned. So there's just this crazy story behind Xanth. And his alignment, again, unclear. And yeah, those are the Norse flits.
And he can't be bought? What is...
There is no notes about him being... Yeah, he you don't think he could be bought. He's the note on him is he's unflappable. I'm not giving you like an overarching thing about Xanth because there's so much written about Xanth that if you could ask a question, I could answer it perfectly.
Cool.
Can he be bought? No, he probably you want from reading this, you don't think he could be bought.
Okay, can't be bought. Can be trusted to pursue his own version of the greater good. And does his background of attempting to murder Jeffrey, because they came to an understanding, so I assume he's not responsible for the murder, but he is part of the Norse Flits. He has tried to kill Jeffrey before. Is that something that's blackmailable, or is that before he was a Norse Flits?
I mean, you could try and blackmail him with that.
Is there any notes here about how it got resolved, or...
Oh yeah, it's a long... Would you like me to read it out to you? Would you like me to tell you what happened? I could tell you a 45-minute story.
Is there like a 5-minute?
Long story short, Jeffrey killed one of his family members. He executed them. Xanth did not think that was justified and ran him down. There was a long back and forth between them, and of them trying to kill each other and fighting each other from the shadows, having their public lives and in secret trying to kill each other.
Batman.
Jeffrey became Batman. He was Daredevil or something like that if Batman and the Daredevil were opposed. Going at each other, and there was a showdown on top of a building, where where they nearly both killed each other, and Jeffrey revealed that the person he had killed had told Jeffrey to kill them to get the country in line behind joining Lavassa. And
the old king?
It was not Jeffrey's father, no.
Wait, that was Jeffrey's dad that he killed?
No, Jeffrey was the king when he became part of the country.
I thought he had to kill someone to become king, and then he
most certainly did.
I was thinking this was from that, but
no. And he killed one of Xanth's. He killed Xanth's wife, or Xanth's love, while he was off at war. And she was a leader. She was a civil leader, and kind of like opposed the whole like join Lavassa thing. And after she died, they all realized like, oh, the voice, we don't have anything here to oppose this, and so they were forced to join. And it turned out that she had told Jeffrey to do that so that they could like unify the country and prevent themselves from going to war with Lavassa. And
because she couldn't just change her mind?
No, she had changed her mind. She wanted to join, but the other people, that there was like this whole ploy behind it of like, oh, the people that were opposed are dead now. Our leaders don't stand against us. And there was this way of like getting everyone in line with fear, and they thought that was best at the time. And so he again, the kind of idea of greater good.
Yeah.
And Xanth respected that, and then they kind of like didn't try to kill each other after that.
Okay.
Again, they don't like each other. They very much so dislike each other. But yeah.
Now, what are the laws on prosecuting Northflets? Like,
again,
how do you blackmail these people? How do you prosecute? How
you can't? They're not like, anyone who is a Northflits is not officially a Northflits person, because they're not an official organization. Like they're not public knowledge.
Really?
Yeah. They're secret. They're like, well, obviously people know there is a secret police, but they don't know who is a member of the secret police. They don't know because they're
secret they all
police.
Have day lives and dual face, the whole FBI, undercover FBI.
So if you wanted
CIA.
to prosecute them, you would obviously just go prosecute their day life.
But you'd have to find who they are in day life.
Right. And for some of them that is listed, but for Xanth it is not.
Cool.
Actually, Jeffrey notes that he doesn't have a day life. He is simply Xanth. He never stops being Xanth.
Yeah, he lives his mission. That's
Mhm.
yikes.
And
But you can still prosecute him. That would just prosecute him as Xanth.
Yeah, he'd be a civilian. Yeah, you just prosecute him as a civilian.
But I doubt you'll pull up Xanth in any database.
Right, exactly. Those are the Norse and whatnot. And then for
Would that trigger Peter's? Wow, his name isn't Peter anymore. Perdita. Would he trigger as Norflets if he doesn't have a name in the database, but he recognizes Lavazza and functionality? Would that be one logical conclusion?
That could be a logical conclusion, yeah. If you think Perdita
it ain't no
is
ironclad,
lying,
but
yeah, if you think Perdita is lying to you,
or that he actually has amnesia, but he was.
Yeah, because there were no fingerprints. There was nothing about this person anywhere.
It's like he had been scrubbed.
Yeah, so that is a logical conclusion that either the Norflits removed him, or someone in power removed information about this person, or they removed themselves for whatever.
Or he was never there, and it's just really weird.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that is a perfectly logical assumption. So that's
really low on the totem pole or really high. Okay.
So that's where the Norflits comes to an end, and I think that's where this game is going to come to an end as well. Actually, that was a long game. That was an hour and a half.
But yes, it was Germ. But also, I walked into an archive that I have to read as a human being.
Yeah, and there's still more information to go over. But we can, so there's still more to do next time. Like, immediately when you get on, there's more to do. I recognize that this is kind of just like an archive, but I had to that's why I wasn't ready. That's why I wasn't ready last week, because there was a lot of archiving. I had to get all this in a row.
Get your ducks in a row, Germ.
Let me just get Craig to leave real quick. Oh wait, I have to play Discombobulate before, because
reasons.
Yeah. So actually, Siren will put it in right here. Siren. You can put Discombobulate right here, and it'll all be good. And there we go.
Contact on